Hi, this is Miranda for My Scrappy Life, and today I am doing a layout share from the online crop that I did this past weekend, for the Secret Not Secret Kit Club. And I tried to remember them in order to how I did them, but really I ended up getting 14 layouts done on top of everything that I did for the month of December in general. So I did about, just to recap a little bit, probably by the time I get done by the end of this month, will probably be around 32 to 34 layouts, and 14 of those was just from this crop this past weekend. So they give out challenges about every 2 hours or so, and then you have till Monday midnight to turn them in. And let me tell you, I do have to say that I did get wore out by the end of the crop, but I know for January, I'm gonna see if I can top it in January, because I won't be doing so many layouts for December daily, and I did a series in the month of December here, so I'm hoping I can knock out all of them and actually get all of them done. But to start out with, this was a sketch. This was the first layout we were to do for the crop, and the sketch was actually flipped. So the picture should have been up here and the title was down here. However, I picked this picture, and because she's looking kind of upward, I wanted the eyes to go that direction. So I did it that way. And it called for some splatters, so I did some little splatters. And I decided to call this Love You, because this girl is just my spunky little girl. I just like the picture. It's perfect for this. And this sketch was done through, what kit did I use? I used the hip kit. It was, I think, September's hip kit. And it had a bunch of the Maggie Holmes carousel collection and hip kits exclusive. So that's what I did there. And I will have still shots at the end of the video as well. I'm going to see if I can get, it's cloudy here in Georgia, and when it's cloudy, my pictures don't turn out very well for video wise. I'm still using natural light, and this is the natural light I get. So this here one was for the overlays. I was supposed to use like acetate or any of that kind of stuff, and I didn't have very much of it. So I did place an acetate piece up on top with a doily, and I placed the same acetate down here with the bottom. And it's not that I didn't want to show it, I just didn't have enough of it to be able to do the layout to its fullest like I would have liked. But these were pictures that I took of my daughter. These were while we were in Germany, and we happened to be in a place where it has a bunch of flowers. It's an island for Lake Constance, and we were out. I don't know the German name. I wish I could be able to say it correctly, but I can't get one of the words down. So it's a island that has a bunch of flowers and big trees, and I'm telling you, these things are huge. And so my daughter happened to be looking up. So this picture is where the tree is blurred out, and you just see my daughter's hair hanging down, and you really see her. And then in this picture, she's looking straight up, the exact same concept, but I focused in on the tree and blurred her out. So I really liked how these pictures turned out, and I used, this collection is the Wild Child Girl side, and I call it Super Fly because it is pretty fly. And then I just added some sequins down here from Spiegel Mom Scraps, and I added my journaling there, and I made this, it's simple. It's a very simple layout for me. This here one is a page where we were supposed to sing. And it was a challenge timed one, I think, for 30 minutes. And there was a song. I wanted to use these pictures of my husband and my daughter. And there's a song called out there, Dance Like Your Daddy. And I really liked the song, so that's what I used. I used the title, and I'm telling you, these two, this is his face all the time. and this is her goofiness all the time. So it worked out perfect. And I used the Stargazer from Dear Lizzie. This here is, I had to grab 5, but there was actually 6. So it was stamps, splatters, no, this one wasn't it. Was this my, no, excuse me. This was the, I think this was the bingo. I'm not for sure. Anyway, this, I know that I had to either grab 5 or it was the bingo. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, I made another simple layout. We were up by Eagle's Nest. And during the same, a lot of these pictures, just as a tidbit, a lot of these pictures was done on one of our vacations. And I like the fact that I just went back to regular pictures and started scrapping some of our vacations. So we did the Cinderella Castle, which is what I just showed you on some of those pictures, and Eagle's Nest in one weekend. It took us about 4 days. Nothing too extravagant, but it was really cool to do. So these were up on Eagle's Nest during Hitler's reign while he was, during World War II. So this was the picture, and this here is the actual name of the place for Hitler, his little hideout area or his home. So it looked, this was the cross that they put up for it and everything. It's a really simple layout. Splatters. This was the grab 5. This was the grab 5. So that was the bingo. This was the grab 5. So this is the Cinderella Castle. And what we needed to do was to grab a stencil, sequins, enamel dots, stickers that had this here. I had to use something about that, and die cuts, which was here. And there was probably something else. But I followed a sketch, a little bit of my own sketch, and then I placed it. This is the Cinderella Castle. This was the outside. This was while we were waiting to get in the inside of the castle. And it is a gorgeous castle on the outside. But for me, I was disappointed when we went because only one floor of this ginormous castle was actually built and was accessible for everybody to go through and look at. So you got there and you got this nice, awesome castle. You're thinking you're going to go nope. One floor only. But it's the point that I got to go and say, hey, I was at the best one. So that's why I called it Dream to Find True Love. I thought it was a perfect saying for this layout. So this was the Superstars idea challenge for us for this month. It was to take 2 photos, and that's what I did, and have either all of it black and white except for one piece, or flip it where it was all colored and then one piece black and white. So I decided to do black, through the whole thing black and white, and then just strip this part out. And I just called it Picture Perfect. I talked about what I love about you, and my journaling is like in third party. I'm having it explained about how I like about Miranda, which was about myself. And I placed little corks from Spiegel Mom Scraps. I used Stampin' Up's little pearl dots, and I placed it. And then this collection is the Kaisercraft collection. I think it's the Dream collection. And this page is actually like this here. And then I just placed this sticker to break it out a little bit. It's just a simple layout, but it's gorgeous all the same. And I loved her idea about doing this. And I know I'm going to do this more often. I just like that idea. It's really cool. So this was the challenge of using big letters, a big title, a big word of some sort. So I used Cheeky Studios Wildflowers sets, and I used Turn the Page collection. And then this here I used deco foiling on the word from the Dear Lizzie Stargazer collection. And I just placed a bunch of mixed media, and I just went to town. These go very well together, and I just love this layout. It is the best. And it's my daughter showing me her muscles. This one was, uh-oh. Give me a second here. There we go. Okay. This here one was our career, our dream, our passion. We had to talk about it. And I didn't quite know what to do because I do this a lot in my layouts already about pictures that I like and and then I do a bunch of talking about it and all that. So I do this quite a bit throughout the years. And I didn't know what to do. Well, it so happened that I was listening to music at the time, and the song called 1,000 Nights from Friends was playing, and I was like, that's a perfect. So these takes come out, and it's got the lyrics to the song called 1,000 Nights. And the words that I have here is me. And it's just talking about my 1,000 nights are to tell you this, and it explains, dreamers are dreamers. You need to shoot for the stars and be successful. Don't let anyone tell you can't do something. You tell them, watch me. It took 1,000 nights for me to find my dream. My dream is you. For 1,000 nights, I have found that I have lived for my best friend. I live for my best friend, life in you. You need to be successful in your own way. You are my dream to be full of life. Live your life to the fullest. Love my dream. So that's what I did. And this picture is a silhouette picture of me flying. And I had to do a lot of flying back and forth from the States to Germany and back while we were over there to take my son to his dad's. And so towards the end, I was honestly getting tired of the 9-hour flight because I was doing it for so long. And I happened to take this picture. It just turned out perfect. It's a silhouette picture of my face and then the flight. And it's just supposed to be about the nights and things like that. And that's kind of what I did. So I used the I Am collection, and it turned out wonderful. And then I just placed the cards in the back, the tags. So this was to try to stump me. This was a challenge that got added, and it was called Everything But the Kitchen Sink. Yes, I do have bow ties on here. Yes, it is food. And I went, and it so happened that I ended up being in the same type of area. So I used a baster to spray the white on here and the mint. And I used salt in the paste for texture, for added texture. Bow ties, there's tin foil here, and this is a napkin. So this napkin was what I placed all of the mint on here with, and then I just let it dry, and I used it as my background as well, and I placed it in different spots. And that is my layout. The papers and the embellishments that you see, these are sequins from Spiegelmom Scraps. These were some Christmas stuff from Pink Fresh Studio. And then the papers and these little guys that you see around here is from Close to My Heart. And then I used a stencil to add a little bit more of a texture in different spots. And this was while we were in Sylvania. It was a food festival that was going on while I was there. And I am a foodie, so I take a lot of pictures of my food and stuff when I'm on vacations. This one was the black and white. At first I was going to use circles because it was an image picture of a bunch of circles and a bunch of different types of embellishments, and it was black and white. And then I decided I'm going to do this. So I just took odds and ends. I found a bunch of black and white stuff, and I took my paintbrush and some white acrylic paint from Shimmers, the Acrotones, and I just took my thing outside and I splattered it, and that's how I got my white splatters. And this is my last picture that you will see in my Germany. Once I get everything done, this was the end. This was the day that we flew back here to the States, and I turned it black and white. This was all of our luggage, and this is what we had to live with for about a month and a half in our house. And I used black and white thread. The bow is from Maggie Holmes. The enamel dots are from Close to My Heart. This was my summer page. Yeah, this was my summer page. We were all doing Christmas stuff, and we did a summer page. This is at the Cinderella Castle. This was while you're looking out. It was a gorgeous layout. I used my sketch If you want to know what my sketch was, I do have a process video of this already up and going on my YouTube channel, which is called Getting Sketchy with Miranda and Heather, and that's what this is. And I just called it The Journey. The journey is us just going and traveling and taking pictures and taking it all in. And then I used, the papers are from Close to My Heart, and the stickers are from Chamel. This was the Mixed Media Challenge. I decided to back it with Stampin' Up. I did a bunch of Stampin' Up. I did frames off of my Cricut, and I did mixed media in the background. And I took pictures of my daughter making cookies for the first time during Christmas season. And I just did a 1, 2, 3, 4 and explained everything. That's where my journaling was. And I used stamps on there and did some green thread in the back. I am down to 2 layouts. Sorry that this is a little bit of a long one, but I wanted to explain what I did. So this was the challenge of taking oddball pictures, kind of obtruse type pictures. And I read a lot when I go on vacations, especially if we're driving. I can read probably up to 4 books, and depending on how long we're out and about. And I took 3 books along, and I finished all 3, and this was while we were traveling in Italy. So every time we traveled somewhere, I would always bring the book along, and this happened to be one of the pictures I took while I was traveling. And I literally called it Summer Road Trip Reading. And I made it pretty simple. I just explained it. I just did a simple layout. I did a lot of simple layouts, and I used the Summer Nights collection. And this is the last page that I did. So we had a challenge. The photo challenge was put out a picture that you're struggling with. And then our last challenge was that picture that we struggled with, we had to make it. And it was because this beauty right here came home with me. This was the only most, like, what we call expensive thing that I brought back from Europe. Everybody always brings back like a cuckoo clock or a shrink or something like that, and we didn't do that. It wasn't me. But when we were in Italy, I found this beauty and I had to bring it home. And it stayed in the box until we got here to Gordon, and I finally was able to pull it out. But this is what I took. I took the picture of it so I knew what it looked like, so when I set it up, it was good to go. And everything stays together except for the wings. The wings come off, and let me tell you, it is the most gorgeous piece that I have. I love it. So I used Close to My Heart gray background. I just grabbed a scrap of winter because I like the magical. This is from the Dear Lizzie. And I used deco foiling, and then I took one of my inklings and I colored the bottom of it. And I just placed it, did some sequins from Spiegel Mom Scraps, did some flares from a Flare for Buttons, and used some Stampin' Up! Hearts and called it a day, and then explained about this picture. So thank you so much for tuning in and looking at all of my layouts. These are 14 that I did over the crop over the weekend, and I was ecstatic to do just regular layouts. And I hope to see you guys soon. Keep checking back to my channel. If you like this one, give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more, hit the red button and you will get some more notifications on when I do. I am looking at doing an update video around the 1st of January to give you an idea of what's going on for the next few months on my channel. And I hope to talk to you soon. Bye!